This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
It's Friday, March 11th, 2022, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, a local church adopts an educational facility. A group of pastors set to dedicate lives to the Lord through baptism. And a student wins the National Essay Award. So let's start the morning off right.
The Morning Edition is brought to you by We Buy, You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
Thank God it's Friday. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis.
And good morning, everybody. I'm Charles Fisher, all dressed up in this green. LaDawn has me all dressed up. I'm looking like the leprechaun or the guy on the Lucky Charm box.
And I'm looking like the Apple Jolly Rancher going to Mardi Gras at St. John's College.
Oh,
your old alma mater.
You were that fortunate to the privilege to go to St. John's?
I'll wear it for the day.
Oh, thank you. The Jolly Green Giants of St. John's. Well, the weekend is here. I'm ready for the weekend and think I'm going to rest this weekend.
We have something to do today.
Something to do later on. Something in the newsroom. We're going to do something special today. But don't forget this weekend, you have to push your clocks forward. Because on Sunday, daylight saving time begins. March 30th at 2 o'clock in the morning. Move your clock ahead. Don't forget about that. Daylight saving time begins at 2. And when we change the clock to spring ahead, 1 hour, that gives us a sunnier evening throughout the summer. So we'll have to be coming to work now early in the morning. Right now, it'll be like 7 o'clock here, but be 8 o'clock already.
So that means you're going to lose an hour of sleep? Or
lose an hour of sleep. So I know some persons are going to be late coming to work on Monday.
That may be you.
No, I set my alarm and I get up, so we're going to be all set and ready for that. But we have an interesting show as always. Once again, don't forget to set your clocks forward, spring forward, like they say. But
we have John the Blood.
John the Blood is this Entertainment Friday. He's going to speak with that. Also, a great initiative going down there in Exuma. They were giving us treats yesterday. Christmas came early for a few. Crystal Darling is also out there on the streets, and you also have one of your students.
Yeah, well, SAC is always doing big things over there. A student won the National Essay Award, and so we're featuring her this morning. And then in the Bahamas tonight, we have Student of the Week, Where Are They Now? So we're going to be featuring them, over the course of the next few months.
Well, it's a Friday, and we have to start things off with our Crystal Darling, who's out on the streets to see how things are going to be this weekend.
Good morning, Fisher and LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. We're here on East Street near the Pineapple Plaza, and this morning I'm here with Officer Patrick Kemp. Officer Kemp, Could you talk to us about last night's overnight traffic?
Morning, Crystal, and good morning, Bahamas. And reported, in terms of traffic crashes, we had over 5 accidents reported to us. And again, Crystal, like we say every morning, it's due to persons who are not driving with due care and attention. So I want to encourage the drivers to please pay special attention to any road marking signs and drive with special care, man. You have to be a brother and sister keepers while you're traveling through the streets and to avoid any potential accidents that may occur.
So, Officer Kemp, we also have a lot of street signs in this area as well as traffic lights. So could you talk to us about the importance of the markings here in this road?
Well, if you notice, right at this intersection, right across from Dunkin' Donuts, there's a traffic light and also there's a stop sign. Quite obvious because if the light goes out at this particular intersection for the persons coming out of this side corner here in the area of the just north of the Pineapple Plaza, there's a stop sign there that lets the persons know, hey, you come to a stop, do not enter onto this main road without making sure your way is clear. And a lot of people tend not to adhere and follow the stop sign. A lot of times they come right out onto the main road. In fact, just coming here this morning in the area of Essie McPherson, there's a truck that's traveling south on Blue Hill Road. And a vehicle just came right out of one of those side corners in the front of that truck. And it's ridiculous to know how persons have no regards for the safety of others, much less themselves.
Okay, so Officer Kemp, let's talk about keeping left, because we know a lot of people come out of their way to try to overtake, especially early in the morning when they may feel like there's not much traffic on the road. Could you talk about people just staying in the right lane?
Well, you know, Crystal, first of all, it is not fair for you to make your problem everybody else's problem. If you will wake up in enough and sufficient time, prepare yourself probably the night before, and leave out the house 10 to 15 minutes earlier in the morning, then you will find that there's no need for the excessive speed or the reckless or dangerous driving on the streets to get to where you want to go. So now, because you're in a rush, because you woke up late, you failed to prepare ahead of time, you are making your issue somebody else's issue, and ultimately my issue. And when you come in contact with someone like me, I'm going to sort that problem out for you. All right, so I want to remind the drivers out there to please drive with due care and attention and prepare ahead of time.
Okay, and then, you know, we also have some who tail closely behind. Is there a certain distance you should keep as a driver behind another driver?
All right, so if you want to toss some numbers around, just to give you something to think about, right? If you're traveling at speeds of only 30 miles per hour, your stopping distance per second, you are clearing the speed. You're clearing the distance of about 40 feet, 45 feet per second, and that's just at 30 miles per hour. So there's a thumb rule of 2 to 3 seconds behind a vehicle, right? And to make it make sense, if somebody has to slam brake suddenly in front of you for whatever reason, and you are at least 2 seconds behind that vehicle, that means you would have enough stopping distance to avoid hitting that vehicle. But if you're right directly behind a vehicle and you only have about 2 seconds to make a decision, because studies have shown that the reaction time of a driver especially is 1.5 to 2 seconds. That's the reaction time you have to make a decision. And the thumb rule is 2 to 3 seconds behind a vehicle. So you don't have a lot of time if you're too close behind a vehicle to stop. So you wanna remain at a safe distance behind a vehicle when you're traversing through the street. Just in the event they have to stop suddenly, you have enough distance to avoid that vehicle.
Okay, so before we wrap up, just briefly, could you talk about people driving with vehicles that isn't really up to par to be on the road?
And so I woke up one morning, right, this week in fact, and I was like, you know, this is a really foggy morning. You know, but it wasn't that it was a foggy morning. There was a truck that was letting out a lot of smoke, excessive smoke. All right, that is considered a defective vehicle. Windshield wipers not properly working, horn not properly working, no rear mirror. These are things that would make a vehicle defective, and this is why when you take your vehicle for inspection at the Road Traffic Department, this is why they do such an intense inspection to make sure your vehicle is roadworthy. In fact, the law makes it very clear, Crystal, that for the road users, it is incumbent on you as a driver to make sure that your vehicle is in the best condition before coming on the streets. Now, we have a lot of persons who are traveling on the street, and they don't even have parking lights or brake lights. So late at night, you'll notice you're behind a vehicle, and you wouldn't realize you're behind a vehicle until you get close to them because they don't have any rear lights. Stuff like this can cause a problem on the streets, potentially causing an accident.
Thank you so much for that, Officer Patrick Kemp. Back to you in the studio, Fisher and LaDon.
Looking pretty sunny on the outside, Chrissy. 75 degrees. We are waking up to partly sunny winds southeast at 7 miles per hour. Humidity 88%. Our high pressure ridge will continue to retreat eastward as prefrontal activity threatens portions of the northwest Bahamas throughout tonight. For the northwest and central Bahamas, weather variably cloudy, very warm and humid with isolated showers and the chance of a few thunderstorms concentrated near the extreme northwest Bahamas throughout tonight. For the southwest Bahamas, weather partly sunny to sunny, warm and breezy with a few light passing showers today, becoming mostly fair and breezy tonight. Now your daytime high temperature 86 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight low of 72. And as we look ahead to the weekend, Saturday, variably cloudy, very warm and breezy with isolated showers and a chance of a thunderstorm activity mainly in the northwest Bahamas for Saturday, 86 in the day, 69 at night. And then on Sunday, partly cloudy to cloudy, cool and windy in the northwest and central Bahamas, turning warm and humid with widely scattered showers in the southeast Bahamas, 88 in the day, 67 at night.
Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines is not on the short list to purchase the Grand Lucayan Resort. Last December, the Davis administration canceled the sale of the Grand Bahama Resort to RCCL and the ITM Group that was followed up by a request for proposal exercise that closed March 2nd. Here's RCL CEO Michael Bailey on the company's decision.
We had a great ambition for Grand Lucayan, and then the pandemic hit, and of course things changed quite dramatically. We're still hopeful and committed to being part of a project in the long run for Freeport, obviously, and we're in discussions with the government. And we're in other discussions with other future partners.
The Bahamas testing its ability to respond quickly to any threat at one of its port facilities. This as international reports confirm that Russian forces continue to advance their troops outside Ukraine's capital. With that in mind, disaster scenarios played out across 6 islands Thursday as the Ministry of Transport and Housing held its International Ship and Port Facility Security National Exercise. Here's Defense Force Commander Bertram Boleg.
We have to maintain at least an 80% grade in the ISPS standard in order for our country to receive ships. If, God forbid, and the grade drops too low, then we might have an issue, the United States, we might have an issue with them allowing their ships to come to our shore. So we must ensure that we are able to protect their ships safely once they are in the Bahamian waters.
Now to the latest COVID-19 numbers. Eleuthera making its way back on the COVID dashboard after pulling in 1 new infection. Add to that 2 new Providence cases recorded, and the country has a total of 3, 2 females, 1 male. Hospitalization still holding firm with 10 COVID patients, one of them in the intensive care unit of the Grand Bahama Health Services. As of March 9th, active cases were at 118, with 22 recoveries. That day also accounted for the administering of 178 RT-PCR tests. The pandemic forcing many to tap into their creative side to sustain themselves, like opting to prepare food at home. Deputy Chief Health Inspector Shanti Richards tells us why this poses a problem in some instances.
A lot of people has taken upon themselves to start preparing and selling food from their homes. Now, generally, that is not an illegal activity, but you are allowed to do it under certain terms, under certain conditions. And since the COVID, some persons has taken upon themselves to go outside of the boundary and start to sell and prepare and sell food directly from their homes. And we are presently addressing those issues.
Challenges continue to persist in the public education system, and while Education Minister the Honorable Gladys Hannah Martin acknowledges this is not just the case in the Bahamas, the focus is on ironing things out and moving ahead.
Another challenge that we have found is that there's a lot of energy, and we're trying to see how we can ensure those energies are orderly or organized in how people interact, so that we are able to transition into a very dysfunctional virtual reality or non-attendance to a sense of normalcy, which is getting children back in the classroom. So that's the thing that's on the radar for me right now, ensuring that we create an equilibrium or cause for an equilibrium to be sustained on the campus. And we've been talking about strategies to do that, and that's another thing that's front and center in our concern. We want our children to do well.
Police are investigating a suspected suicide. Preliminary reports indicate that sometime after 8 p.m. last evening, police were called to a local hotel situated on West Bay Street where a female was discovered unresponsive. Officers responded, and on their arrival, they were directed to an upstairs room where they found an adult female hanging by her neck. A male toddler was also found in the room. Emergency medical services were called to the scene. Following their assessment, the victim was pronounced lifeless. Her Majesty's coroner visited the scene and was appraised of the facts. Police will await an autopsy report to determine the exact cause of death and an identification by a next of kin to verify the victim's identity.
This evening, police received reports of a female being found in a room unresponsive. And as a result, our officers were dispatched. And on their arrival, they were directed to a room at a lodging on West Bay Street, where they found a female hanging in a room. They also found a infant child, a toddler child, a male child, in the room along with the female. At this time, we believe that the person would have taken a cord and perhaps used the leverage from the ceiling and hung themselves.
Bahamas group of companies is celebrating women in technology. We're taking this opportunity to pause and highlight the leading ladies in information, communication, and technology who are breaking stereotypes and shattering glass ceilings. We hope you'll join us in honoring the tremendous girl power that keeps our community connected.
Blue Waters Shipping and Delivery Service. They are fast and efficient. They bring the ease of shopping to your fingertips. Free delivery and no dimensional weight charge. They're also offering 25% sign-up discount for the first 6 months. Make sure give Blue Waters a call today at 1-242-803-5604. Visit their website today at bwshipping242.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Ebenezer Union Baptist Church in Farmers Hill, Exuma, partnering with Delton and Anna Ellis along with Keepers Prayer Watch to adopt Rocos Point Primary. The student body was excited to welcome a former student in Reverend Stephen Smith, pastor of Ebenezer Union Baptist Church in Farmers Hill.
We had to walk from Farmers Hill all the way down here to Rocos Point. Could you imagine that? We had to do all that walking coming from Farmers Hill, and so there were many sweats and tears on our journey here at Rocos Point Primary School.
Also a pilot and owner of Shoreline Air Services Charter Company, he asked the kids one question.
Any of you want to be a pilot when you grow up? Yeah. When you grow up? Who all want to be a pilot when they grow up? Hold up their hand. Wow. Who want to be a pastor when they grow up? Hold up their hand. Oh, man, we have more people who want to be a pastor than that of being a pilot.
He did not only come to talk, as he also came bearing gifts of school supplies, which included bags, pencils, crayons, and medical grade masks and other treats. Also, the staff were gifted with gas vouchers to fill up their vehicles. Smith ended with a special word to the students.
It starts by being obedient to your teachers. All right? That means you have to listen to your teachers. It all begins at doing what your teachers instruct you to be. Learning your numbers, learning your ABCs and all of that. It all starts right here. And it may not seem important, but take it from me. It's very important that you get that training here and you listen to your teachers, you listen to your parents, you listen to your older siblings and your guardians. You're going to do that, right? Yes! Wonderful, wonderful. What such obedient children.
A group of local pastors hoping to redirect the country from a myriad of social ills, the Pastors Forum, have planned a mass community dedication and baptism for this Saturday on the Mason Sedition Park. The event's focused on attracting all those who've never been dedicated to the Lord. Aside from the baptism, breakfast will be served to over 500 people.
This event promises to be a very inspiring and moving event, mainly because over several years ago, in a meeting of Dr. Thompson and myself, we looked and reviewed how this nation was really being met with so much obstacles and difficulties that featured young people involvement that brought tremendous concern to pastors and churches and families.
And as we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On March 11th, 1965, the Tribune newspaper reverted to its original name when it became the colony's first daily. The name had been changed to the Nassau Daily Tribune. Also on this day in 1996, Disney signed an agreement to develop Gorda Key in the Abacos as a cruise stop for its ships.
John the Baptist, England suffered violence, and the violence took it by storm, calling the afflicted, calling all souls in despair. Welcome to the Voice of Deliverance telecast from the ministry that is reaching out all over the land, delivering souls and changing lives. The Voice of Deliverance. We're on the move for the Lord. The Voice of Deliverance. We've got a message from the Word.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
New year, new time. Watch Conversations with Christ every Sunday at 10 a.m. And I'll tell you why. Because God said 1,000 years is like a day for me. And that's why you could have a thief on the cross pray for just a few seconds and get forever, and get forgiveness, and get eternity. So every single Sunday for 30 minutes, we're going to praise God together. So every Sunday at 10 a.m., Conversations with Christ.
Palmdale Primary School students given the opportunity to learn while getting their hands dirty in a new youth program.
Today, the greenhouse at Palmdale Primary School is inactive, standing as nothing but mesh and steel. But in the days ahead, those directly benefiting are committed to its growing potential.
With this greenhouse, we realize that there are lots of opportunities. Our students will be sensitized about the importance of becoming self-sufficient, and also they will learn more about farming and integrate that with various aspects in the curriculum, such as growing crops, such as the process entailed in growing plants and seeds. Our students in our 4-H club will also learn about how they can develop more cash crops, those crops that are a little bit more sustainable, those crops that can be grown year-round.
Phyllis Johnson is principal at Palmdale Primary. The greenhouse, she notes, will assist in broadening students' horizon to the many career opportunities available in agriculture.
Students will also now see themselves playing out roles in the future. They will now see these as career opportunities. We have so many students who lean towards wanting to become doctors and lawyers, but there's also a lot of astronomical benefits in the area of farming and fishing.
The greenhouse was made possible by the Member of Parliament for the area school in the Centerville constituency, Jomo Campbell. He also pledged to ensure other public schools in his constituency is gifted one. For him, it's a fulfillment of a campaign promise of education, empowerment, and employment.
What we have here today is a prime example of those words literally bearing fruit. We're educating our students about the necessity of farming. We're empowering them by teaching them and assisting them on how to grow their own food. As we all can see, the food crisis that we're experiencing now across the globe. And hopefully, after hearing the remarks of our very renowned speakers, they will see that there's also room for employment in this industry.
Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Clay Sweeting, also committed his assistance to the educational initiative. He's touting the agricultural industry as one still untapped.
It has been a mandate of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to ensure that food security is paramount in this country. And where do you start? Start from the bottom up.
Principal Johnson says the delivery of the greenhouse is timely, as this month the school is celebrating science and literacy.
Received the highest score in the BJC essay competition last year and is this morning sharing who inspired her to write the winning piece. Take a look.
Each time I stepped foot into Grandma's house, I prayed that she would remember.
It's excerpts like this that seal the deal for St. Augustine's College student Janae King in the BJC National Essay last year. During an interview with Janae on the school's campus, she revealed that the winning piece, inspired by her grandmother's battle with amnesia, took about an hour to complete.
My essay was basically centered around my grandmother and her loving nature. I remember from a time when she would sit me on her cocoa skin and she would offer me this glass of Coca-Cola, which was not allowed at my mom's house whatsoever. So I remember that really significantly. Her amnesia was really, really awful. I mean, it was something that no family should have to go through at all. And when it came to my grandmother, and she was the person who suffered from this amnesia, I was so distraught. So I had to get myself together and contain myself so I could, relish in the moments.
The 10th grader says the essay is about 5 to 7 paragraphs long and is a must-read. She says she's honored that reminiscing about some of the most memorable moments with her grandmother captured national recognition.
The most memorable part of my essay was when I spoke about the locket, which she gifted me, and I gave it to her in hopes that she would, her memory would be restored of me and my name. And when she did remember my name, it was a satisfying and admirable moment that I shared with her.
Grade 9 English language and literature teacher Charlene Collins says she's proud to see that the legacy of the Big Red Machine continues in the junior national examinations.
Every year, I normally would say to my students, listen, it's not just about getting your the 5 A's, which we're always happy to get, but also you can be the one that will probably bring out the best BJC essay, and so I would always tell my students, and this is not the first for us, and so I was really, really elated when I heard the news, and I was like, wow, because she's one of my best English students.
The future gynecologist sees writing as a hobby that she says will open up a window of opportunities. However, she says while the trophy stays home in SAC for now, she is hoping that the winner for this year's essay also make an impact.
It's a really creative field to be in. I mean, you get to express your thoughts and you get to expand your vocabulary, and it's a really nice way to showcase your talents and your abilities.
Before the pandemic hit, every Friday we've highlighted the academic achievements of our young people in our Student of the Week segment. But the big question is, how well are they performing once the cameras stop rolling? Join me, LaDon Davis, for an inside look at what former students are up to right here on the ZNS Network.
...2022 is a year of positional manifestation.
My God,
I just said something. A year of positional. Now, I know you may have never heard that before. It means, my brothers and sisters, if you are positioned, you are ready for the manifestation. God is going to reveal himself in the lives of people who know their God.
Sundays at 8:30 a.m. on ZNS TV 13.
Well, it's Entertainment Friday, Fisher, and we're joined in studio by none other than Janda Blood Navan. Welcome to the Morning Edition.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about how did you get into singing?
Actually, I'm getting into singing, getting into music through, I don't know if you Gully Godfrey King from the Biosis Now.
Mm-hmm.
As a youth, I always wanted to play music. I was a drummer, still a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
But Godfrey King came when I was 12 years old in Freeport, came to my mother's house and told he needed a drummer to play in the Island House.
Mm-hmm.
12 years old, I started playing from there. Then I went on to Sonny Johnson.
Uh-huh. So what are you singing for us this morning?
It's called Out of Zion.
Out of Zion. All right, take it away.
I write it just to let you know, even though I'm far away, stronger my love still grows. I see your face every night in my sleep. You are the one that was chosen for me. Jah spoke the words that made you my queen, and then he placed you as a seal upon my heart. A blessing was sent out of Zion for you and I. The life and the love that we share will never die. You are so fair as the lily in spring. There's no spot in you now. I see your love to me. It is sweeter than wine. Not near but far, physically. Always together, spiritually. Because deep within our hearts, we're never apart. Was sent out of Zion for you and I. The life and the love that we share will never die. Sweet ding 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 no. Sweet ding 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 no. Will never die. Our love will never die. Sweet ding 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 no. Sweet ding 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 no. Will never die.